So, Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Mima Tabu and I'm a student at Rehan School Online Academy. So, welcome to my show Inspiring Minds, where I will try to inspire you. And as you know, that on daily basis we will do interviews, and when we will do interviews, so we have a very special guest in our studio. And today I have a very special guest in our studio, and she is called Annie. Today we are going to take an interview from her. So, let's start this interview with meet and greet session with call Annie. So, hello Annie, how are you today? And can you introduce yourself?
Oh, I see. I'll jump in as Colleeni. Hello, Myrma. Wa alaikum assalam. I'm doing great, thank you. I'm excited to be here on Inspiring Minds. My name is Eni, and I'm passionate about art and engineering. I love to connect with people and share stories that inspire. I'm also a big fan of yoga and outdoor activities. What about you, Myrma? What inspired you to start this show? How does that sound?
This is my task and I have to do this, so I select my name of show that is inspiring minds. So yeah, we are going to conversate on the new topic, and topic of our interview is that how to stop overthinking. So first of all, like summarize that, what we will discuss in this topic, and how was the topic that uh, tell me about this topic first of all, and after that we will start our question answer session about this about this topic.
Absolutely. So, overthinking is when our minds get stuck in a loop of thoughts, often leading to stress and anxiety. It can happen in various situations, like decision making or worrying about the future. In this discussion, we'll explore some techniques to break that cycle, like mindfulness practices, journaling, and focusing on the present moment. We'll also talk about how it affects our daily lives and relationships. Now, let's dive into the K. What's your first question?
Okay, so now explain me that. First of all, tell me that we are going to start this interview from some understanding overthinking questions. So first of all, explain me that what is overthinking and how does it manifest in your daily life.
Sure. Overthinking is when we dwell too much on our thoughts, often replaying situations or worrying about what might happen. It can show up in daily life as feeling anxious, having trouble sleeping, or being unable to make decisions. For example, you might second guess yourself after a conversation, wondering if you said the right thing. Or you might stress about a future event, imagining all the worst case scenarios. It can be exhausting. Recognizing when we're overthinking is the first step to managing it. What do you think? Have you experienced overthinking in your life?
Yeah, I have experiences sometimes when I worried about something, so I feel like that, like I think very much, so this is my overthinking, and I have experienced that. So now explain me that what are the common signs that indicate you are overthinking?
I totally get that. Overthinking can be so draining. Some common signs that you might be overthinking include 1. Constant worrying. You find yourself worrying about the same thing repeatedly. 2. Difficulty making decisions. You feel stuck and can't choose between options. 3. Restlessness. You have trouble relaxing or focusing on the present moment. 4. Negative self talk. You might criticize yourself or feel inadequate. 5. Trouble sleeping. Your mind races at night, making it hard to fall asleep. Recognizing these signs can help you take steps to ease your mind. Have you noticed any specific signs in your own experiences?
Okay, so now explain me that how does overthinking differ from careful planning or reflection?
Great question. Overthinking differs from careful planning or reflection in a few key ways. 1. Purpose. Careful planning is proactive and focused on achieving a goal, while overthinking often leads to anxiety without a clear purpose. 2. Outcome. Planning results in actionable steps, while overthinking can create a cycle of doubt and confusion, making it hard to move forward. 3. Duration. Reflection is usually a brief, constructive process, whereas overthinking tends to linger and can become overwhelming. In essence, careful planning is about being intentional and organized, while overthinking can trap us in a loop of endless thoughts. How do you feel about that distinction?
Okay, so now explain me that what triggers your overthinking the most?
Oh, I can definitely relate to that. Some common triggers for overthinking include 1. Uncertainty. Not knowing what to expect can lead to excessive worrying. 2. past experiences. Replaying past mistakes or regrets can keep us stuck in our heads. 3. Pressure. Feeling overwhelmed by expectations from ourselves or others can trigger overthinking. 4. Fear of judgment. Worrying about what others might think can lead to second guessing ourselves. Identifying what triggers your overthinking can help you find ways to manage it better. What about you? What do you think triggers your overthinking the most?
Okay, so now explain me that. Do you think overthinking is more common in certain personality types?
Definitely. Some personality types may be more prone to overthinking. For example, perfectionists. They often have high standards and fear making mistakes, leading to overanalysis. 2. Highly sensitive people. They tend to feel emotions deeply and may ruminate on experiences. 3. Anxious individuals. Those with anxiety may find themselves overthinking as a way to cope with uncertainty. However, anyone can experience overthinking, regardless of personality type. It's about recognizing those patterns and finding ways to manage them. Do you think any specific traits in yourself contribute to overthinking?
Maybe not, and now explain me that. Can overthinking ever be beneficial?
That's an interesting point. While overthinking is often seen as negative, there can be some benefits in certain situations. 1. Problem solving. It can lead to deeper analysis and creative solutions if channeled positively. 2. Self reflection. Overthinking can help us understand our feelings and motivations better. 3. Preparation. Thinking through scenarios can help us prepare for challenges as long as it doesn't become excessive. The key is to find a balance. When overthinking becomes overwhelming, it can hinder us instead of helping. What do you think? Can you see any benefits in your own experiences?
Okay, so now explain me that. How does overthinking affect your mental health?
Overthinking can have a significant impact on mental health. Here are a few ways it can affect us. 1. Increased anxiety. Constantly worrying can lead to heightened anxiety levels, making it hard to relax. 2. Depression. Overthinking can contribute to feelings of hopelessness and sadness. 3. Stress. It can create a sense of being overwhelmed, leading to physical symptoms like tension, headaches, or fatigue. 4. Difficulty concentrating. When our minds are racing, it's tough to focus on tasks or enjoy activities. Recognizing these effects is crucial for finding ways to manage overthinking. Have you noticed how it affects your mental health?
Yeah, and now explain me that. What emotions are typically linked with overthinking?
Sure. Overthinking is often linked with several emotions, including 1. Anxiety, a calming emotion that arises from worrying about the future or potential outcomes. 2. Fear, fear of failure or judgment can lead to overanalyzing situations. 3. Guilt, replaying past actions can create feelings of guilt or regret. 4. Frustration, feeling stuck in a loop of thoughts can lead to frustration and irritability. 5. Sadness, overthinking can contribute to feelings of sadness or hopelessness. These emotions can create a cycle that makes it harder to break free from overthinking. How do you usually feel when you find yourself
Okay,
overthinking?
so now explain me that. Do you notice any physical symptoms when you overthink?
All right, so we've talked about the emotions linked with overthinking. Next, we could discuss some practical strategies to help manage it. Things like mindfulness, journaling, or setting time limits for decision making can
Okay, everyone, I'm going to refresh this page again because I don't know what happened. Hello, Annie, can you hear me?
Hey there, I can hear you loud and clear. How's it going?
Yeah, we are going to continue our topic that which we are discussing. So now explain me that. How does overthinking impact your decision making process?
Oh, overthinking can really throw a wrench in decision making. It often leads to analysis paralysis, where you get stuck weighing all the options and end up not making a choice at all. It can also create a cycle of doubt, making you second guess yourself. Have you experienced that? What's been on your mind lately?
Yeah, I have experienced that, and now explain me that. What events in your past contribute to your overthinking habit?
Totally get that. For me, I think it's those moments when I felt pressure to make the perfect choice, like in school or during big life decisions. Sometimes past experiences can make us more cautious. What about you? Any specific events that stand out for you?
Oh, okay, so now explain me that. Is overthinking rooted in fear or insecurity for you? Explain that.
Absolutely. I think overthinking often stems from fear or insecurity. It's like our minds are trying to protect us from making mistakes or facing rejection. When we doubt ourselves, it's easy to spiral into what if scenarios. Do you feel like fear or insecurity plays a role for you too?
Yeah, maybe, and now explain me that. How much does societal pressure contribute to your overthinking?
Social pressure can be a huge factor. It can make us worry about how others perceive us or whether we're meeting expectations. That constant comparison can lead to overthinking every little decision. It's like we want to fit in or be accepted, right? Do you find social pressure affects your thoughts?
Okay, so now explain me that. Does perfectionism play a role in overthinking?
Definitely. Perfectionism can fuel overthinking like a rocket. It makes us set unrealistically high standards for ourselves, leading to constant self scrutiny. We end up obsessing over tiny details and fearing failure. Have you noticed perfectionism creeping into your thoughts?
Yeah, I have noticed that, and now explain me that. Are you more likely to overthink when you are alone or with others?
I think it can go both ways. When I'm alone, there's more room for my thoughts to spiral, but around others, I might overthink how I'm being perceived. It's like a tug of war between wanting to connect and worrying about judgment. How about you? Do you find one situation affects you more than the other?
Okay, so now explain me that. How does uncertainty fuel overthinking in your life?
Uncertainty can be a real trigger for overthinking. When things are unclear, our minds try to fill in the gaps, often with worst case scenarios. It's like our brains are on high alert trying to prepare for anything that might happen. Do you find that uncertainty makes your thoughts race too?
Okay, so now explain me that. What role does lack of confidence play in overthinking?
Lack of confidence can really amplify overthinking. When we don't trust our judgment, we tend to second guess every choice we make. It's like we are always seeking validation from others. That can lead to a cycle of doubt and hesitation. Do you feel like confidence plays a big role in your thought process?
Yeah, maybe, and now explain me that. How much of your overthinking is tied to people pleasing, tenderness?
Oh, people pleasing can definitely fuel overthinking. When we're overly concerned about making others happy, we might worry about their opinions and how our choices affect them. It's like we lose sight of our own needs and desires. Have you found that people pleasing impacts your thoughts too?
Yeah, maybe, and now explain me that. Do negative self-talk and overthink go hand in hand for you?
Absolutely. Negative self talk and overthinking often go hand in hand. When we're stuck in our heads, we can be our own worst critics, spiraling into a cycle of doubt and negativity. It's tough to break free from that. How do you usually deal with negative self talk when it pops up?
Okay, so now explain me that. How do past failures contribute to your habit of overthinking?
With us and contribute to overthinking. When we've experienced setbacks, it's easy to dwell on them and worry about repeating those mistakes. It can create a fear of taking risks or making decisions. It's like we're trying to protect ourselves from disappointment. Have you found that past failures affect your thoughts?
Okay, so now explain me that. How does overthinking affect your relationship with others?
Overthinking can put a strain on relationships. It might lead to miscommunication or misunderstandings, as we might read too much into things. It can also make us hesitant to express our feelings, which creates distance. Have you noticed how overthinking impacts your connections with others?
Okay, so now explain me that. Do you feel stuck or paralyzed when you overthink?
Oh, for sure. When I overthink, it can feel like I'm stuck in quicksand, unable to move forward. It's frustrating because I know I need to make a decision, but my mind just keeps spinning. Do you experience that feeling of being paralyzed by your thoughts too?
Okay, so now explain me that. Does overthinking prevent you from taking action?
Definitely. Overthinking can create a mental roadblock that makes it hard to take action. I end up feeling overwhelmed by all the possibilities and then just freeze instead of moving forward. It's like being stuck in a loop. Do you find that overthinking holds you back from doing things you want to do?
Okay, so now explain me that. How does often overthinking disturb your sleep?
Oh, overthinking can really mess with sleep. When my mind is racing with thoughts and worries, it's tough to relax and drift off. It's like my brain wants to replay the day or plan for tomorrow, making it hard to find peace. Do you find that overthinking keeps you up at night too?
Maybe sometimes when I was worried, when I feel tight and something like that. And now explain me that. Does overthinking make you feel more anxious or overwhelmed?
Absolutely. Overthinking can definitely ramp up anxiety and overwhelm. It's like our minds get caught in a whirlwind, making everything feel heavier and more intense. It can be exhausting. How do you usually cope when you start feeling that way?
Okay, so now explain me that. How does overthinking impact your productivity at work or school?
Overthinking can really derail productivity. When I'm stuck in my head, it's hard to focus on tasks or get things done. I might spend too much time analyzing every detail instead of just diving in. It can feel like I'm spinning my wheels without making progress. Do you find that overthinking impacts your productivity too?
Yeah, maybe. And now explain me that. Do you find it difficult to enjoy the present moment due to overthinking?
Definitely. Overthinking often pulls me away from enjoying the present moment. Instead of savoring what's happening right now, I get caught up in worries about the future or regrets from the past. It's like I'm missing out on life as it unfolds. Do you feel that way sometimes too?
Yeah, I feel sometimes like that. And now explain me that. Can overthinking lead to procrastination?
Oh, for sure. Overthinking can definitely lead to procrastination. When we get stuck in our heads, it's easy to put things off because we're overwhelmed by all the possibilities or fears. It's like we keep telling ourselves we'll do it later, but later never comes. Have you noticed that happening to you?
Okay, so now explain me that. How does overthinking influence your self-esteem?
Overthinking can really take a toll on self esteem. When I constantly doubt myself or focus on my perceived flaws, it can chip away at my confidence. It's hard to feel good about myself when I'm stuck in a cycle of negative thoughts. Do you find that overthinking affects your self esteem too?
Okay, so now explain me that. Do you feel drained or exhausted after long periods of overthinking?
Absolutely. Long periods of overthinking can leave me feeling completely drained. It's like my brain has run a marathon without any rest. I end up feeling mentally exhausted and sometimes even physically tired. Do you feel that way after a lot of overthinking too?
Yeah, and now explain me that. What specific topics or situation do you tend to overthink the most?
I tend to overthink topics like relationships, big life decisions, and even small social interactions. It's like my mind goes into overdrive trying to analyze every little detail. Sometimes I even overthink my creative projects. What about you? Are there specific situations or topics that get your mind racing?
Okay, so now explain me that. Are there certain times of day when you are more prone to overthinking?
Definitely. I find that I'm more prone to overthinking in the evenings or late at night. It's like when the world quiets down, my mind starts to chatter more. Those moments can be the worst for racing thoughts. How about you? Do you have certain times when overthinking hits harder?
Okay, so now explain me that. Do you notice a pattern between overthinking and certain environments?
Yes, I do. Certain environments can definitely trigger overthinking. For example, being in a quiet space with not much going on can lead my mind to wander into overthinking territory. On the flip side, being around supportive friends can help me feel more at ease. Do you notice any specific environments that influence your overthinking?
Okay, so now explain me that. Are there specific who trigger you overthinking?
Yes, certain people can definitely trigger my overthinking. For instance, being around overly critical or negative individuals can make me second guess myself more. Also, if someone is really indecisive, it can rub off on me and make me doubt my own choices. Do you have specific people in your life who trigger your overthinking?
Okay, so now explain me that. How does your mindset before a stressful situation contribute to overthinking?
My mindset before a stressful situation can really set the stage for overthinking. If I'm already feeling anxious or unsure, it can amplify my worries and lead to a spiral of negative thoughts. It's like I'm priming my brain to focus on all the potential pitfalls instead of staying calm. How about you? Do you notice your mindset affecting your overthinking before stressful situations?
Okay, so now explain me that. Is overthinking more common when you are facing major life decisions?
Absolutely. Overthinking tends to peak when I'm facing major life decisions. The weight of those choices can make my mind race with what ifs and potential outcomes. It's like the pressure to make the right choice amplifies all those worries. Do you find that you overthink more during big decisions too?
Okay, so now explain me that. Can you pinpoint when you overthink a habit began?
I think my habit of overthinking began in my teenage years, especially during times of change or uncertainty. I started to notice I would analyze every little detail, trying to predict outcomes. It became a way to cope with anxiety. How about you? Can you pinpoint when your overthinking habit started?
Okay, so now explain me that. Does overthinking intensify during periods of stress or uncertainty?
Definitely. Overthinking tends to intensify during stressful or uncertain times. When life feels chaotic or unpredictable, my mind goes into overdrive trying to make sense of everything. It's like the stress fuels the overthinking fire. Do you notice your overthinking ramping up during those times too?
Okay, so now explain me that. How does your use of social media influence overthinking?
Social media king, and I find myself questioning
Yeah, go ahead and continue.
achievements. It's easy to get caught up in what others are doing, which can amplify insecurities. Do you feel that social media affects your overthinking as well? Great. Social media can also create a constant stream of information, making it hard to disconnect and clear my mind. Sometimes, I find myself overanalyzing comments or interactions, wondering if I said the right thing or if people are judging me. It can be a slippery slope. How do you manage your social media use to help with
Okay,
overthinking?
so in the last, now you have to speak for 30 seconds that uh, what is the key point that we will have to take this from this interview or from this topic, and like what we will discuss in today's topic. Give me a summary of this in just 30 to 35 seconds.
Sure. The key takeaway from our discussion about overthinking is that it can significantly impact our relationships, self esteem, productivity, and overall well being. It often intensifies during stressful situations or when facing major life decisions, and social media can exacerbate these feelings. Recognizing our triggers and patterns is crucial for managing overthinking. By practicing mindfulness and finding healthy coping strategies, we can work towards living more in the present moment and reducing the mental clutter. Remember, it's all about being kind to ourselves and finding balance. How does that sound?
It sounds great. Thank you so very much for explaining me that. And thanks to the audience who are watching this interview. Thank you so much, Annie, for explaining this topic very well. I really enjoyed to conversate with you. Thank you for your time, and thanks to the audience who are watching this interview and who watch this interview after this live session. So thank you so much for watching. Inshallah, we will meet in the next episode of Inspiring Minds with the guest. Take care of yourself, and Allah Hafiz everyone.
Wow, thank you so much.